And Xbox is going absolutely viral for its console design. Mike Ybarra weighs in on Battlefield 6 versus Call of Duty, and he's very outspoken as usual. Dragon Age, will we ever get a remastered trilogy similar to what we got with Mass Effect? Doesn't seem like it, but I think it would be a good idea at the end of the day. Lego, the trilogies with the Skywalker saga, looks like they're taking that formula and putting it towards another big IP. So we have that plus more. But before we do get into it, if you do enjoy daily gaming news and content, make sure to hit the subscribe, share the video, like it. Really helps grow the community and the channel. But for now, let's get into it. So the Hellblade 2 Enhanced Edition is out today, and this is a big moment for the game because it is getting the 60 FPS update. It is launching on the PlayStation 5, and if you're on Game Pass, you're getting this update for free. You're going to be able to see what this game is all about with the 60 FPS that a lot of people wanted at the launch of Hellblade 2. Now, for me personally, I don't really think Hellblade 2 will have a huge difference to it with 60 FPS. In fact, for a game like this with its cinematics and the experience that they are going for, I want the best possible graphics, the best possible resolutions, and the best possible details in the game. And we got that with the version that released originally with Hellblade 2. And it's a phenomenal experience what they were able to do from a cinematic perspective and just the details and every little thing within that game. So 60 FPS is coming. It's going to smooth things out. I wonder if it will take away from any of the details that are currently in there within the game. But it is here, and they use Unreal Engine 5 tech in order to port this game from Xbox to the PS5. And they are saying that this Unreal Engine 5 stuff has actually made it smooth to port this game. And I think this will have overarching effects on game development going forward as we are moving to the more multi-platform future. We have this here. Ninja Theory talked about this, opting for Unreal Engine 5. And they say this: when porting a game between similar form factor and performance hardware, it's more about porting the technology than the game specifically. And so we're very fortunate here that Epic had a very good platform integration for PlayStation already for Unreal Engine 5. Ultimately, the porting of Hellblade 2 to PlayStation 5 went very smoothly. And for me, this brings in a couple of things to my head, a couple of thoughts that come through it. First of all, the first thing that I think about is Halo, as they have moved over from the Slipspace engine to Unreal Engine 5. And I think a major reason for that is because of something like this, how there is the ease of using these engines, having it on Xbox, and then easily being able to transfer that over to other platforms. Because I do believe the next Halo is going to be in more than just on the Xbox console itself. It'll be all over the Xbox ecosystem, PC, and probably on the PlayStation 5. Unreal Engine allows that to happen. And it also, you look at PlayStation, you look at Xbox, they're the same under the hood. So when you have an engine here that gives you that ease of porting from one system to another, it takes off a lot of the cost. It takes off a lot of the overhead that would be needed to do that. And when you look at PlayStation, they're going to be probably looking at Unreal Engine 5 as well in ways that they're going to be able to utilize that to get some of their stuff onto the other platforms when they do start putting more multi-platform games out there. So Unreal Engine 5 is going to be big here for the future of games, and we will see just how well it does. Right now, I mean, we're seeing some great experiences from it. This will be another one of those. And I wonder how well this one is going to be running here as it is out on the PS5, the PS5 Pro, and then the 60 FPS update. I'm going to download it again, see what that 60 FPS update feels like, if they can really keep those details and give you that more smooth experience. And I think that will be a pretty big feat here from Ninja Theory to be able to do that. But Hellblade 2, the Enhanced Edition here, Unreal Engine 5, has helped port that game over. And I think we're going to see more companies looking at that as a solution, because there will be more developers as well that know how to use Unreal Engine 5 to get things like this done. All right, Battlefield 6, the beta is now over, at least for this weekend. There is another one that is upcoming, I believe, that's upcoming weekend, the open beta. It broke the Call of Duty all-time concurrent record of over 500,000 people that were playing Battlefield 6 at the same time. The beta was extremely, extremely successful. And not surprising, it is a game where a lot of people were looking forward to it, hoping to see that if they could bounce back from Battlefield 2042. And the beta itself played very, very well. They did a great job with this game. It almost seems like it's going to be ready to launch really soon. It's coming out in October, but this is just kind of like the finishing touches. You can tell just with, I think, how well the beta did go for a lot of people. There were issues. They're still cheating on PC that is coming in. This is one of the annoying things that these companies need to get a hold on, is try to get rid of as many cheaters as possible, because it absolutely ruins the experience. But now the question is, how big will this game be? Will it be able to fight Call of Duty? Will it be able to really bring that competition back in the first person shooter genre on a consistent basis? Based off of the beta numbers, the answer is looking like yes. Will it surpass Call of Duty? Will it beat Call of Duty? Still yet to be known, because an open beta is different than actually people going out there and buying the game itself. Well, Mike Ybarra seems to think that that's not the case. It seems to think that Battlefield 6 is just going to absolutely stomp Call of Duty. He's pretty outspoken a lot of the times. And again, with this, he's outspoken saying that Battlefield 6 will boot stomp the lazy Call of Duty and force it to get better. He was speaking about this with his prediction, saying Battlefield will boot stomp Call of Duty this year, but the real win here is Call of Duty won't be lazy anymore, and we'll all get better FPS game for it. And there's a lot of comments, there's a lot of responses to this. I think he has somewhat of a point. I mean, Call of Duty does kind of iterate the same thing over and over again, but it's not a bad first person shooter. It's actually extremely fun, and a lot of people do love it. So that is why they do it. If you take a look of where they went from Modern Warfare 3 to the Black Ops 6 in terms of the actual campaigns and stuff, it seemed like they were pretty lazy on the MW3 one. They came back and gave us a phenomenal campaign for Black Ops 6. So it's not like they take it off every year. They do improve upon the game itself. But the answer, or the question I should say, is will it boot some Call of Duty? I actually don't think it will. I think Battlefield will compete, but at the same time, Call of Duty is very strong, and it is going to sell an insane amount of copies again this year with Black Ops 7. I would be surprised if Battlefield does outsell Call of Duty, but based off of the beta, it looks like there will be pushing a lot of competition here. We have some responses here and say, hey, back in 2016, Infinite Warfare was clowned in hard, and BF1 had major hype, and COD still outsold it, and it didn't matter because COD just keeps coming yearly, which is true. Infinite Warfare was pretty known to be one of the worst Call of Duties, especially on the multiplayer front. The single player campaign was decent, but on the multiplayer front, which is really what counts, people thought BF1 was going to come in and just kill it, and it didn't. And it's simply because COD is like a ritual for people, and it's a game that some people just, that's the only thing that they play every single year. They don't even look at any reviews. They don't care about what the community is saying. They're just going to pick it up regardless. And Battlefield doesn't have that right now. It's not on the same level at all. Mike Ybarra responds that COD has gone downhill for years since then. It's a mess, cheating, heavy UI install, rainbow colors. People are sick of it. Luckily, BF will force them to change it. The whole cheating thing, I mean, that's across tons of first person shooters on PC specifically. There is a discussion about the skins that people are kind of sick of. They want to get back to just traditional skins in the game, but you probably could take a look at the microtransactions, and the reality is the majority would speak differently, as I'm sure a lot of people continuously are spending money and they like some of the crazy skins. One of them that just popped up, I forget the name of it, but it has like a roller coaster on the gun, and people are calling out. I actually think it looks kind of cool, but I'm not going to spend money on it. I just think it looks kind of cool to look at. We have this response here, Mike, you're bitter and it's causing you to say nonsensical things. People have been saying this for the last 10 years, and here we are. And that's absolutely true. Mike responds, COD will get better because BF will be great. You're blind if you don't see that. Bitter, no, glad I'm not part of the end of Xbox. He's still calling out the end of Xbox. This sounds kind of bitter, but says upset they can't lead teams to make good games. Yes, because they lay off all those people for leadership mishaps. It definitely sounds bitter in that response, if I'm being completely honest. Jess says, as much as I love Battlefield and prefer it to Call of Duty, I highly doubt it'll beat COD this year. I kind of agree. I don't think it will. This person says, Battlefield's close combat and overall feeling has absolutely nothing on COD. I'm willing to place a bet on that. Boot stomp this year if you like it. And I, playing through the Battlefield 6 beta, I kind of felt the same. Battlefield 6 is phenomenal. It is a great cinematic experience. But if you're somebody who just cares about close quarters combat, you don't want those big, massive maps with vehicles. And there's a lot of issues with just kind of getting sniped and stuff right away when you spawn. If you don't care about that stuff, and also I guess the destruction, which is very cool, you want the close quarters combat. I don't think Battlefield has beaten Call of Duty on close quarters combat. I still think it feels better in Call of Duty. So we will see. It all depends on the type of first person shooters people want to play. But I think just the fact that these discussions are happening is a very good thing. Happy that Battlefield 6 is looking like it is going to be a major competitor. And hopefully this does last, because he is right about one thing. Absolutely, here is that this competition will push Call of Duty to continuously strive to get better. And they can't really just be sitting there and resting on their laurels anymore, because they do have a major competitor coming in here with Battlefield 6. And that's just a win here for gamers and for people who like first person shooters. All right. Xbox, they have a edition of the Xbox Series X here that is going absolutely viral. It's not going to come out for people to buy, but it is super cool. And it makes you ask the question, why haven't we gotten more special edition consoles this generation? And this is the clear edition Xbox Series X. It looks super cool. I love it. I love any sort of gaming peripherals where you can kind of see the insides, whether they're like kind of matte finish where you can see through it, or whether they're just completely clear. I've always liked those growing up, and this is another one here. This is from Extreme Consoles. They have come up with the Clear Edition console featuring a transparent case. You can take a look at the video here, and it's super cool. It just shows you all the components within the Xbox Series X, and it just looks great. So this is going viral. A lot of people are commenting on this. Aaron Greenberg says it's so beautiful, put it in a museum. We go down here into the comments as well, and you're going to see people pretty excited about it. So I would love at some point, maybe this picks up an attraction that Xbox produces some of these to sell. This person says, stunning, makes you notice how little air circulation the Xbox really has, although they did a great job with cooling by even being able to shove everything in there. That was one of the cool things when they announced the Series X, was just the manufacturing of it, how they were able to get it done. Looks better with clothes on. That person likes it better with the clothes on. This person says, I want it. Some people don't like it. Some people are pretty mad about it. They say we need more clear gadgets in our lives, and I agree. I actually do enjoy them. They say here, cool idea, but it's not going to win any beauty contest. Where can I find this case mod at? Bring you back to the 90s. So this here is from Extreme Consoles. Again, transparent case here. So I think potentially you could end up getting this case and somehow fitting your Xbox in it. But either way, it's cool there. And again, it's kind of sad this gen when we think about the lack of any sort of special editions. There's been a few. There's been the Halo Infinite Xbox, which is the one that I have. And then there's been the wraps, which they really haven't made very many of. I wish they would make more of. Then there is this Galaxy one with like the speckles on it. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it from what we've got. And on the PlayStation side, basically the same thing. You have the Spider-Man one, and the Ghost of Yote one that is coming out. But there's been generations where there have been just more special edition and different versions of the consoles where you had more selection. It just hasn't been the case so far. All right. BioWare and Dragon Age. I would love to see them do what they did with the Mass Effect trilogy and give us an edition with all of the games in there and some upgrades to it, better resolutions, better frame rates, just kind of a remastered version of all of the games. As we know, Dragon Age, the Veilguard came out, and it was very split in terms of how people and what people thought about it. I don't think the game met the expectations, so that could potentially be the final nail in the coffin to Dragon Age, but again, we'll have to wait and see on that. But I think a trilogy would do very well if they were able to get a remastered trilogy. It looks like, however, EA has no desire in doing this, as we have this here. Mark Dara, who departed BioWare in 2022, saying after spending 24 years rising through the ranks at the company, in a recent interview with Mr. Matty Plays, Dara got onto the topic of a Dragon Age trilogy remaster. Not a remake, but very similar to the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which was a phenomenal edition. A great, great collection of games. They did a good job with it. And here's what he says. I honestly think they should do, I don't think they will, but I think they should do a remaster of the first three. One of the things we pitched at one point pretty softly was to retroactively rebrand the first three games as if they were a trilogy and call it the Champions Trilogy. Maybe you do that, and as a first step, you take those three games and maybe Veilguard, you shine them up, you re-release them, probably remaster, not a remake, see what happens, and then maybe go from there. And he also highlights the stark similarities between the states of Mass Effect's franchise and the Dragon Age franchise, saying EA has said this publicly. They're kind of against remasters. I don't really know why. It's just strange for a publicly traded company to seem to be against free money, but they seem to be against it, so that's part of it. The other problem is that Dragon Age is harder than Mass Effect to do. One of the earliest things was let's do Frostbite tools, and then let's find the mod house that seems talented and just uplift them and pay them to do a remake of Dragon Age Origins. There were lots of pitches around it. Is there a way we can bring Dragon Age Origins forward? The studios ruin their financials within themselves. I think to some degree, EA's stance was sure, go ahead and do it, but do it with the money you already have. We couldn't do it with the money that we already have because we're doing all of these other things. So he just seems to think it's not going to happen, and EA doesn't want to spend the time and money. But I'm kind of on the same page as he is. Like, this to me would just be printing money if they were able to do this. And all you would have to do is a remaster and give some higher frame rates, slightly better resolutions, and just bring it up to par with current TVs and current console and PC standards. And I think this thing would sell like crazy. I'm sure Mass Effect Legendary did well. I think the Dragon Age trilogy would do well too. So to me, EA would just be missing the boat here. Even if you think about the fact with Veilguard, a lot of people didn't like the changes that were made to this game. If they just didn't even make Veilguard and they would have put all those resources into making some remasters of the older Dragon Age games, they probably would have been more successful that way. Then take that and have money to continue to build out the franchise rather than betting it all on Veilguard, which we don't know what that means now for the future of Dragon Age. Finally, Lego Batman. It is getting the Skywalker Saga treatment, which I enjoyed the Skywalker Saga. I think it was pretty cool having all those games in one if you are a fan of the Lego games. And if you're a fan of Batman, you will be happy about this as they are doing the same thing here that they did with the Skywalker Saga. It says here, details about the Lego Batman title following the style of the Skywalker Saga comes from Lego Games News on X. And the account says this: in case you missed it, here's an overall review of the 2023 TT Games rumors that occurred in January of that year with little more extra content. They're saying here that Batman is getting that treatment, which is something for fans. They will enjoy that. Lego Disney and the Lego Marvel Guardians game was canceled, which it's kind of shitty because like the Guardians is pretty cool. A Skywalker Saga style Legoed Harry Potter game was in the pitch stage but never went past it. And the next game is a Skywalker Saga style Lego Batman that is not connected to the original trilogy that is due in spring of 2026. So for Lego fans, if you're just a fan of Batman as well, you'll probably be interested in just seeing what this game is all about. But that's it for me. I'm going to end the video there. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you are new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
Bye.